What's up, everybody, and welcome to another day of the vlog. This is the second one. Hope you enjoyed the first one. Getting out without killing myself here on the ice, just for a morning run. It's just going to be a pretty easy 45 minutes or so, just getting ready for the swim. Swim's kind of the key workout of the day, so I don't want to tire myself out too much. For that, I want to get some good quality, and there'll just be a couple little pickups, probably 30 minutes or so into the run, and we'll see if we can get moving. I'll talk right now. I'm wearing, as you can see, the Nike Pegasus 35s. I'll give you when I get back from the swim, I'll give you a little review on what I think about the 35s, and I'll compare them a little bit to the turbos, so that'll maybe give you a little insight if the turbos are worth the money or not. Alrighty, so I'll get this thing moving. Alrighty, that's today's run all done. It was pretty good. Foam roll right now, and then go for my swim. The swim, if you're wondering, is the just because I'm backdating these things, like I mentioned yesterday. The swim is the one that I've posted as like a workout Wednesday, since it's Wednesday today. We'll see how it goes. It was pretty good, and actually the run was real good. Basically what I did this morning was the same workout that I did last Friday on the treadmill. And then last Friday I did it on the treadmill, achieved the same kind of thing, but by using incline instead of speed. Since on the treadmill, like I've talked about in other videos last year, my hamstring gets really bugged on the treadmill. So I did basically the same workout, but on the treadmill, achieved the same thing through upping the incline. Anyway, so what I did was an 8-minute block, or actually it's a 16-minute block. So eight times a minute on, minute off. The minute off, so you're still running. In future videos, I'll be able to take you with me along on some of the runs. It's just right now, to be honest, like, as you know, here in Canada, it's like skating rink outside right now, so it's just a little too dangerous to film. And really, like, my runs are like done on major roads. So like I'm running on Dufferin here, so I'm not gonna do a film when I'm on one of the busiest streets in all of North America. So anyways, it was a good workout. The minute-ons, like, I wasn't really, like, pressing too much. I was just trying to more accelerate and focus on that, and then maintaining some of that speed throughout, but, like, not trying to, like, go, like, full-on lactic. So, I mean, the minute-on, roughly around 3 minute flat per kilometer. Today's swim is kind of a threshold set. So 2 weeks ago, I did an 800-meter time trial, just to kind of see where things were at after like a long strength building phase. Then last week was the first where I kind of attacked that speed. So I achieved a certain pace in the 800-meter time trial, and then I went after going a little bit above that pace. I played with going above it in the last week, and then went back below it. This week will be more trying to sustain underneath that pace on a much shorter recovery. So, yeah, that's kind of the main focus for the day. And, yeah, we'll catch up after the swim, and I'll chat a little bit about the Pegasus 35 versus the Pegasus Turbo. All right, what's up, everyone? Swim went great. I nailed all the times that I wanted to hit. Today, basically, it was 6 times 150 building, and then 6 times 100 at a little bit quicker than threshold, and then 6 times 50, again a little bit quicker than threshold, and then finished off with 6 by 25, pretty much max speed. Anyways, I said I'd give you a little review of what my thoughts are on the Pegasus Turbo here and Pegasus 35 here. First of all, I'll say, obviously, I'm not sponsored by Nike, so you know, they're not knocking on my door right now. I'd love to be, but with that being said, this is a completely unbiased review. But I thought I'd let you know what my thoughts are between the two, because there is a significant price difference between them. Is this guy at double the price worth the old Pegasus 35, which is kind of the, you know, it's been a staple shoe in their lineup for a very long time? Well, unfortunately, I think the answer is it depends. And each one of them really has their own strengths, each has their own weaknesses. And honestly, I wouldn't be able to really tell you one is better than the other. But I mean, if that's the case, if I can't say if one's better than the other, then maybe the one that's $100 less is the one that's maybe worth buying. So let me get into it. What do I think? Very oddly, I think my opinion on between the two shoes is completely different than how Nike advertises the shoes. So Nike advertises the Turbos as basically a slimmed down Pegasus, which is a little bit racier, a little bit quicker, ability to take on every single type of workout. However, I think that when it comes to pure speed, the Turbo is not the shoe for you. Reason being because the Zoom X foam is the same that's used in the Vapor Flyknit, the 4%. The thing is that Zoom X foam is so squishy, it kind of just squishes down and there's no real spring off. So with the Turbos, you get the compression of the foam on the bottom and that's the end of the story. With the Flyknit, you get the compression of the foam on the bottom, then you run into that carbon plate and you explode off the ground. So I find actually the Turbos, which they say are the faster shoe, I find them actually to be a little bit on the sluggish end of things in terms of pure speed workouts. Having said that, because they're so light, the Zoom X foam is so light, and actually just what I mean is the shape of the shoe, because it's so narrow and kind of like the way the shoe is curved, with the last and the lightness, they do end up being quite fast shoes. However, they're not, I find at least, they're not fast shoes for pure speed work. So what I mean is they may make your easy runs a little bit quicker than they would be otherwise. So let's say you're going out on an easy run doing, say, 430s. These may end up having you run 420s feeling nice and easy because they're so comfortable and they're quite light. However, if you're trying to push that pace over into your 400s and stuff like that, I actually find they're a little bit sluggish because they're too squishy. In comparison, Pegasus, the normal Pegasus 35s, I actually find to be much stiffer than the Pegasus Turbos, and because of that, because they're stiffer, I think they're actually better for speed work. Now, you might be saying, well, what the heck am I using Pegasus for speed work when I have the 4% or even the Zoom Flies at my disposal? Well, I think that it's good to sometimes use trainers for speed work because, one, it's easier on your legs because they're a little bit more cushioned. And then two, it just means that when you go out and race in those Flyknits, the 4%, you're that much quicker because you're like, holy moly, look at like how much this thing springs off the ground. It's unbelievable. So I do use trainers quite a bit for my speed training, but I do find that they're a little bit stiffer, so they are better, I find, than the faster Turbos for speedier workouts. Because for speed workouts, you don't really want that marshmallowy feel on the bottom. You want something to hit and pop off the ground. Having said that, there's a caveat, and that is that I do find, compared to the Turbos, although the Pegasus is, in terms of winter shoes, although the Pegasus outsole is much better than the Turbo's outsole, the Turbos, if there's any sort of snow on the ground, you're sliding all over the place. The outsole is basically useless in the winter. So, despite the outsole being better on the normal Pegasus compared to the Turbos, I will say that the foam that is in the Pegasus, and that's the Zoom foam, is not very cold resilient, and that's a big problem for the winter. I do find that this foam sounds odd, but it actually does freeze in the winter. So if we get down to minus 15 over here in the minus 20 type range, this guy will actually feel like you have like a brick on your foot. Not because it's heavy, but what I mean is it hits the ground and it doesn't feel like there's any sort of compression going on. So I will say that in terms of cushioning, in very cold winter days, the 35s aren't very good if you're going out for an easy run where you want that cushioning. Speed workout, you're not going to notice it, so that's not going to be a problem. The turbos, on the other hand, seem to be, for some odd reason, that Zoom X foam seems to be kind of unaffected by the cold. I've worn them both on very cold days, and the turbos just seem to be unaffected by the cold. And if you really want something that's great for cold weather running, where the foam is like it acts the same all the time, I'd say you go more to the Adidas Boost. The Boost foam is extremely cold resilient, and it feels the same no matter what, I've found. Having said that, they're both great shoes. So which one do you go for? Well, these are $100 less. I'd probably go with the normal Pegasus. I have loved the turbos as well though. The turbos make long runs just so nice because they are so light, and that foam is so nice and cushioned. And it is much more cushioned than the Pegasus. I will say, for both of them, this goes for both of them, try them on, because the thing is what I found with both is, because you have this kind of pointed, you're not going to be able to see it from there, but because they both have that pointed backside to them, the turbos much more so than the normal Pegasus, I have found that it is, despite the midsole being very cinched down and very narrow, the heels on both of them are a little bit sloppy. And what I mean is it's hard to really get that fit where your heel feels really secure in the shoe. So what I found particularly with the turbo is that it almost feels like your heel is coming up out of the back of the shoe unless you really have it tied down tight. And I do think that is because they have this flaring out of the back. So I mean, try them on. Because that could be an issue. And like I said, both of them are quite narrow, so again, try them on. I'd say the turbos are more narrow than the 35. Anyway, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the two. I think if money's an issue, I'd say go with the 35s. I do actually find they are very fast shoes, but for a long run, I gotta say I'd rather have the turbos because they are much lighter and the cushioning is much better on them. So yeah, today overall, great day. Had a good run this morning, a great swim. That was kind of the key session for the day. And then after last night's bike workout, this evening's ride is just gonna be pretty chill. I mean, it's gonna be basically a cafe ride without the cafe. Out on Zwift, probably an hour and 15, an hour and 20 minutes, and then I'll hit up some core, and then that'll be it for the day. So again, thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share, turn on that little bell for some notifications so you can stay up to date, and I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m.